Hello, welcome back. In this lecture, you will get to know about the ESP32. So, in the previous lecture, we have seen that the details of the ESP8266 on NodeMCU. So, the basic difference in between ESP8266 and ESP32 is huge because ESP32 is the advanced version of ESP8266 and the better version of the ESP8266 is ESP32 because it has supported Wi-Fi and BLE both. So that ESP32 contains Wi-Fi and Bluetooth in a single system on chip, single board. So let's get started with the introduction. So as you can see here on the screen, ESP32 is a series of low-cost, low-power system on chip microcontrollers with integrated Wi-Fi and dual-mode Bluetooth. Easy to set up for basic applications, well-established community support just like Arduino, ESP8266, NodeM or NodeMCU. It has also a huge community support. ESP32 is created and developed by Espressif System because ESP32 is the advanced mode of ESP8266, so it is developed by the same company, which is a Shanghai-based Chinese company. So let's see the components of the ESP32. So the model I am using in this code, that is ESP32W Room 32 chip. It is also known as ESP32 Dev Kit, and in this development board you can see just like ESP8266, it is contained a system on chip, that is ESP-W Room 32, and it has a Wi-Fi antenna that is 2.4 gigahertz. In the extension of it has also a Bluetooth support 4.2 BLE, and the chip has dual core 32-bit LX6 extensor, and up to 240 megahertz clock frequency has been supported in this chip, and it has 520 KB of internal SRAM and 4 MB of external flash memory. As just like the ESP8266, it has also 802.11 BGN Wi-Fi transceiver for the Wi-Fi communication. So let's see in the physical mode. So this is the ESP32 that I am talking about, and you can see here the structure of the ESP32 is just similar to the ESP8266 or NodeMCU, but the difference is here, that is the board. This chip contains the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth both. So this is the ESP32 W Room chip, and this is the Wi-Fi antenna here. Okay, so remember one thing, that there are many other versions are available in the market, so you need to configure those versions, or you need to verify those versions from their data sheets, which you will find in the specific company sites. So if you want to buy the development board, please verify the dataset before you are going to use this, because the dataset will tell you the features of the ESP32 or any kind of development board, sensors, display boards. So I'll show you how to go through the datasets in sensors part. So let's get started with the next feature, that is power requirements. So just like the ESP8266, it has also a 3.3 volt voltage regulator and external power supply pin and 3.3 volt output pin. It has also a micro USB connector just like ESP8266. The operating voltage is 2.2 volt to 3.6 volt, and onboard voltage supply, that is 3.3 volt regulator is present, and 5 microampere during sleep mode is being generated, and 250 milliampere during RF transmission. RF transmission is very much required in this board. So let's see in the physical mode, just like the diagram you can see, this is the 3.3 volt voltage regulator, and here you will find 3.3 volt pin supply for output voltage, and here you will find the V-in pin for provide the board an external power supply. So let's move towards the next slide, that is containing the multiplexed input outputs. So it has 15 ADC channels, 2 UART interface, 25 PWM outputs, 2 DAC channels, and SPI, I2C, I2C, I2S interface, and 9 touchpads. So these are the multiplex GPIO pins, general purpose input output pins, and these are the also in the board. You can see this is the pins that I am talking about, general purpose input output pins. Okay, so let's move towards the next slide, that is switches and indicators. So it has a reset button, a boot boot button, or boot button is used to switch from Bluetooth or from Wi-Fi. When you will flash a program on this chip, you need to press the boot button, because boot button will confirm that is the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. And a reset button is also available, just like ESP32. It has no flash button. The boot button will do the same work. It has a red LED for power, indicating the power, and a blue LED for user programmable, because just like the ESP8266, it has also a blue LED that can be programmed by user, and the pin that is used to program the inbuilt LED, that is D2 pin. It will help you to program the inbuilt LED. So let's see in the physical mode again. So here you will find the LED1, that is your power LED, and on the right side, if you take, this is the north, this is the south. So on the east side you will find the power LED. On the west side you will find the onboard LED that can be controlled by the D2 pin, and D2 pin is situated here, just here. Okay, I hope you can see this. Okay, so this is the D2 pin that I am talking about, the pin number 4 from 1 2 3 4. So pin number 4 is D2 pin if you taking up to this side. So let's move towards the next slide. Oh sorry, I just forgot about the pins button. This is the bootloader button, and this is the reset button. Okay, this is the micro USB that I am talking about in the previous slide. Let's see the communication part. So it has also a CP2102 USB to UART converter that is also available in the ESP8266 board. So you will find this on the board. This is a small chip that is used for the serial communication. It will convert your USB connection into a UART connection. So you can program this chip via micro USB port with the help of this system on chip, that is USB to TTL converter. It is named as CP2102. Let's see in the physical mode. So this is the CP2102 chip. So it has 5 Mbps communication speed, and it has IRDA support. Let's move towards the next slide, that is the pin description of the ESP32 Room 30. So here you will find the GPIO pins as a multiplexed input output. That means just like the ESP8266, it can be operate various other functions in the same time. For example, GPIO 5 can be operate as VSPI, and GPIO 1 can be operate as UOTXT, and it can be operate as CLK3 for the clock. It can take clock inputs. So this is the pin diagram you need to know before you are going to programming some kind of LEDs or some kind of projects. You need to find out on the internet, or I will just provide. You can take a screenshot of this section, and you need to remember on all the GPIO pins where the GPIO pins are situated, because when you will connect a sensor to a particular GPIO pin, you need to mention the GPIO number when you are going to programming this. Okay, so just like the ESP8266 or Arduino, you need to configure the pin diagram in your mind. Okay, so today in this lecture I am going to end up this session, because this is sufficient to get to know the ESP32 in a very basic manner. So this is the end of this section. In this section you will get to know the Arduino, basic details of the Arduino. You will get you got to know the ESP8266 and ESP32. So thank you so much for watching these videos, and keep going through the lectures. You will find a very unique way of learning of IoTs, because I am going to tell you the from very zero to advanced level. You will be able to production a project. I will cover two major projects, and there are some mini projects also while we will start our programming part. So don't worry about that. Thank you so much for watching this video.